I always thought Mary Astor was sort of dull, especially compared to Jean Harlow and some of her counterparts. I also think, in general, brunettes in the 1930s are boring. So take everything I say with a grain of salt because I am a bigot. It may surprise my fellow narrow-minded friends that Mary Astor, a star who exudes propriety and ladylike airs, was the center of one of Hollywood's biggest sex scandals. Despite her frigid screen image, Astor had many a torrid love affair. In a 1936 custody battle, all of Astor's dalliances would be brought into the light because of her personal diary submitted as evidence, causing a media frenzy. Mary Astor made her screen debut in 1921 when she was only 14 years old and had a career that spanned 43 years. Her dad was a strict disciplinarian immigrant from Germany, or just your average one. Her parents purchased the infamous Moorish-style mansion, accordingly called Moorcrest, in Beechwood Canyon, where Mary was essentially held prisoner and couldn't leave unchaperoned. At one point, Charlie Chaplin, speaking of not being chaperoned, lived at Moorcrest, and now Andy Samberg owns it. A piece of treasured, valuable Hollywood history owned by a guy who made a song about his genitalia in a box. All this to say that Astor's upbringing was mentally cruel and abusive, with her parents controlling her money until she was 26. So when she finally did escape, she went crazy, like an Amish in the city. To escape her tyrannical German father, Astor settled down and married Dr. Franklin Thorpe. And this is probably the one time marrying a doctor disappointed an immigrant family. Mary Astor and Franklin Thorpe had a daughter in 1932 named Marilyn, and they lived in a Toluca Lake house I used to walk by every day on my, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm so depressed walks, like before I had real problems. The relationship cooled off and both Thorpe and Astor started having affairs. In 1933, with her marriage on the rocks, Astor wanted a divorce and began a lurid affair with playwright George S. Kaufman in New York City, who was fresh off the success of his Broadway play Dinner at 8. What's that, you ask? Well, I have a video about it for your viewing pleasure. As a lonely, only child living in a mansion, Mary Astor wrote religiously in her diary. She continued this habit into adulthood, and that included writing about her love affairs in great detail. In the midst of this, Franklin Thorpe found Mary Astor's diary and threatened to expose her affair if she fought him for custody of their daughter. They divorced in 1935, and in 1936, Thorpe made good on his promise and dragged Astor through the mud in a drop-down custody battle that caused a media circus. They say this scandal pushed Franco and Hitler off the tabloids, and it certainly would seem so, as spectators bought ice cream and popcorn while attending this salacious trial. Franklin Thorpe's lawyers cherry-picked explicit passages from Mary's diary that were used to make her look like an immoral, unfit mother. But it's like, hello, this is Hollywood, everyone's immoral and unfit. Even though the diary was never submitted as evidence, rumors of what raunchy details it may contain spread like wildfire. The studio executives panicked too. One of the rumors involved Mary rating her leading man sexual conquests. So imagine the embarrassment when it came out that some of the studio's biggest, manliest stars were underperformers in the bedroom. The studios are like, oh gosh darn it, we spent this whole year trying to convince everyone that William Haines is straight. And now we have to deal with this? Worst year ever. Eventually the judge was like, enough, stop wasting the taxpayers' money that they don't have. This is the Great Depression. And he forced Astor and Thorpe to come to an agreement. He also had Mary's diary sequestered in a vault until 1952 when it was destroyed. Despite the sensationalism of this scandal, Mary Astor's career was unscathed. She was filming Dodsworth at the time, which went on to be nominated for 7 Oscar nominations, and had yet to make her most famous film, The Maltese Falcon. So it just goes to show that sometimes scandal can destroy you. If you're a fat comedian, like you're skinny and you're pretty, it can help your career. Even if you are brunette and not interesting and boring.